This is getting started video is geared towards new users, for people who haven't experienced Map Business Online before and they want to navigate how to get to the map and then some of the basic features that are used in the program. I'm starting here on this mapbusinessonline.com homepage, and if you're new to the program and you haven't purchased a subscription, you can try the try free button and download our free 30-day trial. Or if you have a subscription, you can click on map and that'll launch the application. I want to let you know that we do have a desktop app that's available as well. It works exactly the same as the browser version, but it's more of along the lines of a tech support backup. So if you come into the office and the browser's acting strange, if Firefox, Chrome, Safari, or Edge is acting bizarre, we wanted a way for you to be able to still access your maps without the reliance on a web browser. So you can always download, get the app. It's free for all of our subscriptions. When you're ready, you launch the map icon and it'll pull up Map Business Online for you. When it does, you get centered on a view of the United States, and this video will go over some of the basic features. The first thing I wanted to start you with was the zoom tools in the top right corner. You'll notice that at the top there's a green plus sign, so if you want to incrementally zoom in on the map, you can go down to the red minus sign to incrementally zoom out. And then we also do have this horizontal bar that will bring you to a whole zoom level. So you could go down to country, multi-state, state, multi-county, county, and then once you release that bar, then it will give you that view. The next one is our zoom back button. It's a little blue arrow that points to the left, and that'll get you to your previous view that you had. So you click on that once, it gives you back to where you were. The bottom icon is a magnifying glass, and this is how you can kind of draw a box around the area that you want to center yourself on, and it'll automatically zoom in for you. So what you want to do is click on it once to enable it, and you'll know it's enabled because there's a red X there. Next, we will move our mouse cursor over the area we want, and we will just start in the top left, click, drag to the lower right, and then release. We can continuously do that to get closer and closer until we finally get down to the street level detail. Once you're centered on the map the way that you want, you come back up to the magnifying glass zoom tool and you click on it again, and it makes that red X go away and that disables it. Now that we're looking at Dallas, if we decide that we want to once again look at the national level, we can click on this icon here. That's the US flag with a magnifying glass, and that'll center us back out to a national level. Next is our address bar, and our address bar is located in the top left corner of the program. With this address bar, you can find a specific address. So you can type in a street, comma, zip code, or you could do a street, comma, city, comma, state, or you could just do a city, comma, state, or you could just do a zip code if you want to just be centered over that area. Once you have the address entered in that box, you can either press enter on your keyboard or you can press the binoculars. That will center you over your area, and you'll see that we have 4 icons down below. This first one is if you want to just quickly draw a radius on the map. The next one is a drive time polygon. The next button is to save your location in a data set. So we can click on that if we wanted to start adding locations one at a time on the map. It initially will bring up a data set, and if we want to create a new data set, we just click the new button and we just give it a name. A data set is essentially just a bucket, and so every point that we start saving going forward, we can decide to throw it into this bucket or another bucket. Once we're done, we just click create data set. Now that we have our data set created, I have one called locations, we can then start to name our location. From here, we can change the size. We can also change the symbol type if we wanted to. And then once we're done, we can click Save Data Edits. Now that that point's saved, if we ever want to get up to it, we can click on the data window at the top. That's the thing that looks like a calendar. And within here, we can do our pull-down list, see our data set location, and any points that we add into our locations bucket will be listed here. If we ever need to, we can then export that list with this button on the end in the data window. Next is if you want to plot data, and that's probably the tool that's used most often in the program. We have this plot data on map button in the top left, and this is how you can bring in a spreadsheet. This first screen will show you how columns should look. The most important thing is that you have proper headers in each of your columns. So you have address, city, state, zip code. At the very least, you want to have a zip code column so they can plot by that even if you don't have a street address. And then you always want to break up your information. So you never want to have city and state in the same column. You never want to have state and zip code. And you never want to have a column that has address, city, state, and zip code all in one column. You can feel free to throw in as many columns of the spreadsheet as you'd like if you have sales figures, or if you want to classify your type of customers, or if you have a column for data last visit. You can feel free to throw that in because we can always use it for labeling and color coding. We have advanced features in our program, and we can choose to browse to a spreadsheet. We can also copy and paste from a spreadsheet if we'd like. And so if we want to pull up our spreadsheet, we just click the browse button, zoom down to the spreadsheet that we want, and we have two buttons at the bottom. If you're confident in your data and everything looks great, you know that all the columns are set up correctly, and you have those addresses all set up, then you can click our plot button. If you think there's some ambiguous data in your spreadsheet, so maybe if you have a column for a billing street address and then you have a shipping street address, you might want to take a look and go through our advanced features by clicking next so that you can assign the correct street address to that column. I also go over that in our plot data video if you're interested. I'm going to just quickly plot this data here by clicking the plot button. It's going to automatically take my information and it'll drop as little push pins on the map. Once we have that data plotted on the map, you'll see little push pins, and you'll also be presented with this data window that pops up. This data window is just all of the information from my spreadsheet. When I'm looking at my data window, I'll see these circles to the left-hand side. A green dot is great. That means it was able to identify it correctly by all the information that was provided. If you happen to see a yellow dot here, that means it was partially located. So maybe you didn't have a street address, or maybe you had a PO box in the street address column. It was able to, at the very least, be located by city, state, and zip. If you see a red X over here, it means that there's incomplete information. Either there's a bad address or those fields are missing next to that entry. So I just want to let you know in case you see that. We are presented with this do you want to color code data on map box? And if we want to color code that data right off the bat, we can click yes. We're presented with different options. We can color code with symbols if we want to show different colors based on a column of the spreadsheet. We can also color code with circles, make those circles larger or smaller based on a numeric value like sales. We could do charts on a map. If we have something like market share with us and our two biggest competitors, we could show pie charts, or we could do bar graphs. Finally, a heat map is just to show a concentration. You can show a lot of heat if there's a lot of concentration in a single area. Most commonly, you use color code with symbols, and so I'll just go ahead and click next. I'm going to click next again, and then I get to choose which column of the spreadsheet I want to color code by. I could do by sales, and if I wanted to do it by sales, I could change the number of values that I have, the number of ranges. I could change what each of these ranges mean. I could change the symbol, and I could change the size and color for each of these ranges as well. So if it's a lower figure, maybe I make it a smaller value. If it's a larger range, maybe I make that a larger one. I could also do it by a different column of my spreadsheet, which is classification, so what type of customers I have. And so I'll just go ahead and make those all the same size. Click done, and now I have these points on the spreadsheet. Since my points are not in the San Antonio area, I'm going to use my zoom tools that I learned earlier, and I will click on the American flag to zoom me out. Now I can see those points that I imported as part of my data set, and then I can zoom in and start to see those information at a state level. If I click on one of these points, I will see information of what we call a callout, which is just essentially a text bubble. Any of these fields can be added or shown to that specific customer, and if you need to change it, you can click on the settings here and change the call out. I go over this in our plot video plot data video as well. If you have any questions, please let us know. We can be reached via phone or email, and you can contact us right through mapbusinessonline.com, and feel free to check out our free trial. Thanks and have a great day.